Okay, so are you ready to dive in? Today we're playing Digital Detective, which is always fun. Imagine coming across this creator online and they've got like this spooky story about a cursed bookshelf that give you chills. But then right alongside it, they've also got guides on building your own AI-powered office. It's wild. That's Srinidhi Ranganathan for you, and we're going to try to figure out what they're all about.
And the really interesting thing is how Srinidhi mixes everything together.
Yeah.
Like you'll see classic ghost story stuff, creepy mansion, secrets, that kind of vibe. But then they bring in all this artificial intelligence stuff and it gets really unsettling.
It's true, like Edgar Allan Poe doing a tech startup almost. And speaking of spooky, we got to start with Srinidhi's short story. It's called The Cursed Bookshelf. And no spoilers, but picture this. We've got a main character. They're drawn to this lonely old mansion. There's a hidden passage right behind a bookshelf, obviously, and these symbols that are hinting at like some ancient power.
Total classic setup, right? It plays on that fear of the unknown, what's hiding in the dark. But then Srinidhi throws in these modern anxieties we have about tech. Like the story even mentions AGI glasses. They can read your mind, which is both super cool and super creepy, especially in this setting.
Whoa, okay, back up a sec. You just brought up AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, and that's important because it pops up a lot in work. Just so everyone's on the same page, AGI is basically like the ultimate goal for AI research. Building a machine that's as smart as a human, maybe even smarter.
Exactly. And that idea that machines could become conscious and even surpass us, it's a big theme in sci-fi. But Srinidhi's taking it a step further. They're weaving it into guides for entrepreneurs, courses on future-proofing your business. It's like they're blurring the lines between fantasy and what could actually happen.
Which kind of leads us to the big question here. Who is Srinidhi Ranganathan, and what are they getting at with this crazy mix of stuff? Are they just a good storyteller, or is there something more, something deeper, about how technology, humanity, and the stories we tell about the future all connect?
$1 million question, right?
Yeah.
Because when you look at just how ZH Srinidhi creates and all the different types of stuff, it's obviously not just a hobby. It feels like a mission. They're building this whole universe of what's possible. Every single thing they put out, from those spooky stories to the AI marketing guides, it's like a window into a different part of this future they see coming.
And speaking of windows, going through Srinidhi's work is like, I don't know, wandering into this library where someone messed up all the organization. It's like teacherless AI classrooms, next to Dracula enters the future, next to growth hacker granny. It's like a random phrase generator, but also kind of makes you want to click.
And that's what's so clever, right? Each title is like a little hook. It's familiar. But then there's that twist that throws you off. Like teacherless AI classrooms.
Yeah.
Makes you think twice, because we assume for education, you need a teacher.
Yeah.
So then you wonder, in Srinidhi's world, what DO teachers do? Does AI change how we learn? What's good, what's bad about that? They make you ask the questions.
Yeah, and it's not just school stuff either. Srinidhi's all over the place. I mean, come on, Dracula enters the future. What does that even mean? Is it about like living forever now that we've got digital stuff? Or is it literally how tech changes the rules for, being a vampire? So bizarre.
And then there's Supernova 2050, the world's one and only artificial general intelligence AGI training course for futuristic entrepreneurs. It's a mouthful, for sure, but it tells us something. Remember how we were saying AGI is like the next level of AI? Could be even smarter than us.
Yeah.
Srinidhi's not just talking about it, they're making plans for how people can use it, how to do business when that's the world we're in.
Which I think is really important here. With all the crazy stories and titles, Srinidhi's also being kind of practical. It's not just about these wild ideas. It's like they're giving you the tools to actually deal with them if they happen.
Totally. You see it in titles like Start Your Own ChatGPT Office or Future 1.0, your guide to the AI-powered digital marketing universe. Those aren't just catchy phrases. They're telling you, this is coming, AI is going to be huge EE, so are you going to learn how to use it or get left behind?
It's like they built this whole, system. The stories get you thinking, and then the guides are like, okay, here's how that thought could become real, how to actually do something with it. Could even give you an advantage, right? Because things are changing so fast.
And we haven't even gotten to how good this is from a marketing perspective. Because honestly, Trinity no-nos what they're doing. It's like this perfect blend of they love stories, but they also understand how to grab your attention and maybe even turn you into a customer, whether it's for their courses or consulting, whatever they're offering.
So is it all just like one big ad, or is there something real there, like they actually want to teach people amidst all this cool content?
That is the question, isn't it? And it gets even trickier when you look at how Srinidhi is online, like their own profiles and stuff.
Yeah.
Adds a whole other layer to things.
Okay, so we've got the content, this wild mix of sci-fi and how to AI, and now we're talking about Srinidhi's online life. Like, are they a real person or a character they made up?
Right. Remember how we were saying they could be straight out of one of their stories? Their LinkedIn is like, they took that idea and ran with it. It's all about how they present themselves. Very intentional.
Oh, no way, really? Like, what kind of stuff are we talking here? Spill the tea?
Well, get this, they call themselves a marketing consultant.
Yeah.
Which, okay, makes sense. But then it's also founder of Startup 611, which sounds like, I don't know, some kind of cool hacker group from the future, right?
Okay, yeah, I see it.
And then their tagline is, the best part, helping visionaries build the future, one algorithm at a time. It's all very like sleek and futuristic, just like their writing.
It's like they want to be the tech person who sees everything, not just predicting it, but like making it happen.
Totally. And that's what's so important about all this. You know,
Yeah.
think about the world we live in. Everyone's got an opinion, a product, some vision of the future they're trying to sell you on.
It's true. It's like that old saying, don't believe everything you read. But now it's more like, don't believe everything you see, hear, click on, anything.
Exactly. And that's why Srinidhi's work is so interesting. They make you stop and think, who's telling me this story? What do they get out of it? Like, can we even tell the difference anymore between someone giving us real advice and someone just trying to make a sale?
So where does that leave US? We've spent all this time, and it's fascinating, don't get me wrong, but we've got more questions now than when we started.
Maybe that's okay, though. Sometimes the best kind of thinker, they don't give you the easy answer, you know? They make you ask your own questions, come to your own conclusions.
It's true. It's like, we tried to put this puzzle together, but the picture's still kind of fuzzy. But maybe that's the lesson, right? It's not about knowing everything for sure. It's about being okay with the mystery, being willing to be surprised, be a little skeptical too.
And honestly, if we learn to ask the right questions, we'll be better at figuring out what information is real, what's just someone's agenda. That's a good skill to have these days.
For sure. So everyone listening, next time you're online and something really makes you think, challenges what you thought you knew, pay attention to that feeling. You might have found your own cursed bookshelf, you know? Just keep your wits about you and have fun with it. That's all for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening.
The Cursed Bookshelf by Srinidhi Ranganathan, the man known as the digital marketing legend in human AI. I never should have opened that door. When my parents told me we were moving to an old Victorian house in the sleepy town of Shadowvale, I thought my life was over. No more hanging out with my friends at the mall. No more pizza parties on Friday nights. Just me, stuck in some creepy old house in the middle of nowhere. But I had no idea how creepy things were about to get. The first few days in our new home were pretty boring. I spent most of my time unpacking boxes and exploring the dusty rooms. That's when I found it, an ornate wooden bookshelf in what used to be the library. Something about that bookshelf gave me the chills. Maybe it was the intricate carvings of gargoyles and demons along the sides. Or the way the wood seemed to absorb the light, casting eerie shadows across the floor. I ran my hand along the shelf, feeling the grooves beneath my fingers. That's when I noticed a small notch near the bottom. Without thinking, I pressed it. There was a loud click, and the entire bookshelf swung open like a door. My heart pounded as I peered into the darkness beyond. A set of stone steps led down into blackness. Musty air wafted up, carrying the scent of decay. I should have slammed that door shut and never looked back. But curiosity got the better of me. I grabbed a flashlight from a nearby box and took my first steps into the abyss. The stairs seemed to go on forever, spiraling deeper underground. Cobwebs clung to my clothes and hair. In the beam of my flashlight, I caught glimpses of strange symbols carved into the walls. Finally, I reached the bottom. The narrow passageway opened into a large circular chamber. My light fell upon an altar in the center, covered in ancient-looking artifacts. Bones and crystals and things I couldn't even identify. That's when I heard the whispers. Faint at first, then growing louder. Inhuman voices chanting in a language I didn't understand. The artifacts on the altar began to glow with an eerie green light. I turned to run, but the bookshelf door had vanished. Solid rocks surrounded me on all sides. Trapped. The chanting grew to a deafening roar. The ground shook beneath my feet. And then, emerging from the shadows. But I can't bring myself to describe the horrors I saw in that chamber. The nightmarish creatures that haunted my dreams for weeks after. All I know is that I woke up in my bed the next morning, convinced it had all been a terrible nightmare. Until I noticed the dirt under my fingernails. And the strange symbol now etched into my palm. Whatever was in that hidden chamber is now a part of me. And I fear it's only a matter of time before it takes control completely. So let my story be a warning. Some doors are meant to stay closed. Some secrets should remain buried. And some curses can never be broken.